Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. And today I am working with the Saving Spring kit from Julie at DesrJulieJulie. I will link her Etsy shop and her YouTube channel below. I want to share with you today a few ideas I have for signature centers. Now, I have no problem with having a page by itself being a signature center. I think sometimes that is the best way to showcase a beautiful composition. But sometimes you may want to do something a little different. So I've come up with one, and I think that somebody else came up with the other, and I know somebody else came up with the other. I don't know how to give credit to them because I'm not sure who I saw it from first, because I actually saw the one several times. So that is the one that I will do first. And if you know some people that you have also seen do this fold, go ahead and tag them in the comments. I want to make sure and give credit where credit is due. You may have seen them the same place I did. You may have seen them someplace else that someone else has seen. And you may have seen them someplace that no one else has seen. And in that way, be giving that person, that creator, a little bit of love by directing people to their channel. So this first one is, let's see if I can remember, I think they call it a pop-up fold. And it requires 2 pieces of paper. These are the 2 that I chose for this particular signature center. And first I folded the one that I want to be the outside of the signature center in half with the picture on the outside. Then I folded the other one that will be the pop-up in half with the picture outside, and went back and folded it again, not quite on the seam for this one because the center didn't exactly line up, and I lined it up on this one first. And when I saw it wasn't going to line up, I just went ahead and folded it anyway because it's going to be fine. That really doesn't bother me. And so you will have something, let's see, your fold will look like that. This is the center. And then if you have one of these pictures or pages that has 3 pictures, you can fold on that line as your line. If you're using a regular sheet of paper, you get to choose where it is. Just make sure that it's equal on these 2 parts. Make sure these 2 parts are equal and these 2 parts are equal. Follow me so far? Next, I have already rounded my corners. You do not have to do that. But the next thing that we are going to do, and this is a little variation. I don't know that I saw any of the other people do this. I am actually going to make this into a pocket pop-up. So I'm going to line this up right here. See, I've got all my curves and everything lined up. And I'm going to make a finger divot. Let's see, in this page, I believe is 8 inches. Is it? No, it's 8 1/4. So I'm going to line it up with my 8 1/4. And I like using my envelope punch to make my finger, my thumb notches. I was using the wrong word. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I like that it really doesn't have a place to catch. Sometimes when using a hole punch or just cutting your thumb notch, it ends up with a point that can catch on your paper that you're trying to insert. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I am the oddball. Imagine that. I'm an oddball. And I have trouble with my tags or journal cards and things catching on the inside of it. All right, so I am going to get this somewhat lined up. I'm going to go ahead and give it just another crease, just to make sure it's a good, flat, crisp fold. About the only time I ever use the word crisp is in terms of crease and apples. It's just not a word I use, so it always feels funny coming out of my mouth. So I'm going to take some glue now. And because I'm creating the pocket on this side, I am just going to glue these 3 sides right here. I do need to make sure and glue here because otherwise my item that I tuck in there will just slide into the middle and mess with the pop-up mechanism. And now I'm going to very carefully line this up with the corners with the thumb notch. And then give it a firm press, and it's not quite lined up, so it needs to scoot just a bit. There we go. All right, so there is that pocket. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. And it looks like this is just gonna lay flat. I mean, when you get it all stretched out to make the pockets, it's probably gonna lay flat. Let's see, I need to, again, use my bone folder just to make sure this is a nice crisp edge. And I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on in the same way that I just did on the other side. And then I'm going to line that up as well. And that gives you a pop-up picture. And I think that what I'd like to do sometime is with this spot that's created in here, I think I might like to figure out how to make maybe a long, thin pocket to go in. Or, ooh, I just had another thought. Okay, I had another thought, and I may come back in this video and share it. I may wait until I've got it absolutely figured out on that one, but I like this, and I like that you get 2 pockets. I like it when pieces move. I do know where the last place I saw this was, and I will link that. It was in a Rach and Bella collaboration project. And so we've got our 2 pockets here. Still got writing space here, which actually this makes 2 columns if you want it. And then writing space and writing space. I like that one. And it's pretty simple, actually. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. The next one that I want to share with you is creating a pocket in the center of your signature, an envelope pocket. And for this one, I have 2 digitals that are the same. They are mirror images. I guess I need to move that one out of the way. They're mirror images of each other. And so when I do this, it's actually going to look like this is the page and you've inserted an envelope. So let's go ahead and get started on this. For this one, I folded it to where this is the length of the other pages in the journal. So it's going to be kind of in half, I guess. And then I cut off about 1 inch. And then I folded down about 1/2 inch. So this is a full page. I cut off 1 inch, and then I folded down 1/2 inch. This is a page folded in half, and then I have just folded 1 inch down. Don't cut this one off. This becomes your envelope flap. You're going to need some washi or some other maybe thin paper if you don't like to use washi. Just something to connect your 2 pages right here in the center. It doesn't matter what color your washi is because nobody's going to see it anyway. And just gonna connect those 2 so that they are even, which is Again, easier said than done. You know, I keep forgetting. Somebody said one time, why do we keep trying to line them up perfectly? Put it on one and then line it up. Which makes so much more sense than struggling to get them lined up perfectly. All right, there's that. I'll cut this or tear that off, and then I'll butt these up together and press, and that should be so much easier. And look at that. Oh my goodness. That worked so well. And then I'm going to take and put washi on this side as well. And since they're already butted up together, I don't have to worry about them sliding apart. You can put extra glue under this if you want. You can go back and add glue if you feel like it's not holding well enough. And I'm going to trim off these little bits on the ends. And so now you have created a single unit. All right, so fold this over. Fold this over, train the washi tape because it's going to have to be closed. All right, so after you get the washi tape put in here, before you glue this together to make the envelope, you're going to want to sew this signature into your journal so that it's all together. After that, you would take and glue, and I don't have my glue open, I'm just pretending. Glue here and here to make your envelope, but I would also glue here just to make it a little more strong, a little bit more complete, sturdy. How about that? And then you have an envelope in the middle of your signature. It hides your signature strings. For some people, that's a bonus. Sometimes I like to do it, sometimes I don't. And you can make this close however you want. If you want to put some Velcro there, that's fine, or magnets. If you want to put a tab or something here to tuck it behind to keep it closed, you can do that. I think what I'm going to do is put a hole through the bottom of the envelope here, and I'm going to run a piece of string through and tie a bow on here to hold it closed. So that is signature center number 2. Number 3 is the one I came up with. I think I came up with the envelope one without seeing anybody else do it, but it may have just been changing up what I saw somebody else do. This one I think I did. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I am not ashamed to share credit if I'm not the first one. And what this is, here is your signature. You come up on this page, you open it to the center of the signature, but then you open both of these sides again, and you have pockets. I did not have my envelope punch when I made this one, so I used my half circle. That's fine. And then you close it up, and there is the back of it. There is a way to not have this white portion here. I'm probably going to use washi tape or ink or something, maybe some lace to cover that up when I put it into my journal. But here I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make it. And this is what I chose for the center. And then these will be my 2 fold ends. All right, so I'm going to leave it. Can I leave it like that? Let's see if I can leave it like that without losing them off of my little tiny table here that I'm still working at. And the first thing you need to do is, in order to create room for the pockets here, you're going to have to leave a 1/4 of an inch gap to get in and out. So 1/4 inch on each side equals a 1/2 inch. I am going to take a 1/2 inch off this end of this paper. Oh, there's one. Okay, so I need to go to that one is a 1/2 inch. Wow. Okay, I'm going to take 1 inch off just because I think I need a little bit more room than that. I was eyeballing when I was saying those measurements about the one I already made, so I was probably off on my guesstimate. Next, I know that I am folding this in half, and this is going to open to the center of your signature, so I know I want the image to be on the inside when I fold. Burnish that down. And now I want to have thumb holes here, so I'm going to get out my envelope punch, get out whatever tool it is that you are using to make your thumb notches, if you're making thumb notches. And that becomes your inside. Next, you want to take your 2 papers that are going to be your flaps and fold them in half with the picture, the image that you want on the outside of it. And once again, we're going to fold and burnish. Okay, next step. This is going to go in here, just like that. And then this one will be on this side, just like that. Measurements look good. So that's a 1/2 inch instead of a 1/4 inch. And what I'm going to do now is, on the other one, I rounded my corners too soon, and so I've got a funky looking gap on that side. So I'm going to wait to round my corners until after I get everything glued down. So I'm going to, on this one, go ahead and glue this pocket to this page. And I am not going to have to worry about allowing for signature to be tied in like I did on the last one, because your signature will come through that center right there. I'm going to go ahead and get this glued, and I can go ahead and glue from here to here because this is the inner part, the shorter part of the pocket. I do want to go ahead and put glue here because once again that will create the back of the pocket. If I don't do this, then things will go ahead and fall through the back of this pocket. It's not what I want to happen. And I am going to line this up corner to corner on here. And then I have my inside flap for that. I think I may need to come back and cut off a 1/4 inch because I did adjust this a little bit so that I didn't have this white corner. So I'm going to have to come back and cut about a 1/4 inch off of this one to allow for the folding in and not getting all crumpled up. So let's go ahead and get this one glued on. Try not to drag your sleeve through the glue. My little sleeve holders are in the studio and not with me right now. So, because I'm not in the studio yet. I'm getting there. I will get there soon. All right, I think that's lined up. I'm going to turn this over to make sure that it's lined up. And it is. And there we go, there is that. And I am going to go ahead and cut off a 1/4 inch on those 2 pages. All right, and now plenty of room for that to fold in and fold up. Now I can go in with my corner rounder and get all those corners taken care of, because I like round corners in my journals for the most part. If I'm not doing a vintage or rustic one, I want round corners. And this one's going to be, I don't know, not really rustic, It's going to be kind of an elegant garden, elegant woodland type theme. Maybe not woodland. But anyway, it's more elegant, so I want the corners to be rounded. And so here is our third signature center. Pockets here, writing space on both those sides. You could add, you could do whatever you need to right there. And then there's the back of it. So these are our 3 signature centers that we made today. I think that's it, yes. Tell me if you know who it is. Somebody that you've seen make this pocket or this fold. I don't know that I've seen it with a pocket. I've seen that fold. Tell me if you've seen somebody do this, because I think I've done this before. And so I probably got it from somewhere else. And then let me know what you think of this one. I appreciate your feedback. Remember to check out Dear Julie Julie's Etsy shop, because these digitals are just gorgeous. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.